Hello everyone and welcome to No Man's Sky. This is a game that I've been looking forward to for years and I'm so excited that it's finally out. In fact, it's been out for less than half a day and I think I've poured about 10 hours into it so far. There's definitely a lot to go over, but if you are curious about what kind of game No Man's Sky is, we can actually learn a lot about the game through its menu. So let's jump in and take a look. My first impressions of No Man's Sky are very positive. This is definitely not your run-of-the-mill first-person shooter. In fact, it's best described as really an adventure game. The object of the game is to reach the center of the universe, and there's actually some pretty compelling fiction to drive you there. From the moment you start stranded on your first planet, you interact with an entity known as the Atlas, and your curiosity for this entity is what is driving you across the universe. Now, to be able to make your way across the universe, you have to upgrade your tech. So I thought I'd give you guys a brief overview of that whole system through a tour of the menu. You can definitely learn a lot about a game through its menu, and this was the part that I was most curious about over the last few years. And I have to say I like it quite a lot. You essentially have three main pieces of technology: your exosuit, your ship, and your multi-tool. Let's start with your exosuit. Every piece of technology you have has a certain number of open slots. These slots can be used to house resources, upgrades, or you can also use them to craft items. Your upgrades show up with a black border and your items show up in white. If you're familiar with the interface of Destiny, you'll be right at home here. Hovering over any item will give you a brief description as well as options to interact with it. Your exosuit has a jetpack, life support, and hazard protection by default. This protects you from things like a radioactive atmosphere or cold temperatures. You can upgrade these features as you go, but you have to keep in mind that upgrades take the same slot as an item. The more upgrades you have, the fewer items you can carry, so it's always going to be a balancing act. So to craft an item, it's actually pretty easy. All you have to do is hover over an empty slot and it'll give you some options. Here you can either install some new technology or you can craft a product. If you decide to install technology, you'll be greeted with a menu presenting you with all of the blueprints you've found so far. You can find upgrades for your health, your protection, your stamina, or for utilities like your jetpack. Here you can see that I almost have all of the items for this upgrade. All I need to do is find some more zinc. Again, it's important to remember that these upgrades do permanently occupy your inventory slots, but you will find upgrades that add more slots to your exosuit later on, so it's not going to be that big of an issue. You can also move items from your inventory directly to your ship by holding triangle. Moving on to crafting an item, you simply hover over one of those empty slots and press square. You are then taken to a list of blueprints that you've collected so far. You can find the item you want to craft, and if you don't have enough materials for that item, you can actually pin the recipe so you can track your progress. Moving on to your ship, you have about 16 slots. Of course, those can stack twice as much minerals. And unlike your suit, you can't really upgrade the slots on your ship, at least not that I know of, but what you can do is actually to purchase a bigger ship from traders in space stations. Your ship will also come with a number of upgrades as you can see at the top here. You have the phase beam, which is used to mine minerals in space. You have your photon cannon, which is used for combat. You have your deflection engine. You have your pulse engine, which is used to travel between planets a lot faster. You have your launch thrusters, which is used to get airborne, and finally you have your hyperdrive, which is used to travel between systems. And finally you have the multi-tool, which is used to mine minerals as well as combat. And you can switch between the different modes in the game by pressing triangle. This is a new gun that I picked up, and you can see each of the weapons have some stats on the right hand side. This multi-tool, the Vigilante Riposte, is definitely more suited for combat. But as I see myself more of a miner and trader, I'm going to be looking for one that's better suited for mining. Of course, you can definitely upgrade your multi-tool to be better suited for what you're looking for, so ultimately you can make it fit your playstyle. Each part of the weapon, of course, does use energy, which needs to be recharged with minerals. Aside from your technologies menu, you also have a options menu. This is where you can see all the different planets and systems that you've discovered. You can name your discoveries whatever you like, and upload them to the Universal Database for credits. You get a pretty hefty sum of credits for discovering everything there is to find on a planet, so I like that it definitely promotes that completionist playstyle. Anyways, that wraps up the overview on the game's systems and menu. My primary goal right now is to find a ship that can store a lot more items. That way I can take less trips up to the space station while mining. Anyways, are any of you guys playing No Man's Sky, and does it live up to your expectations? I know for me it definitely is, but it's all about managing those expectations. I know this is an indie game made by a group of 13 people, and it'll probably be one of those games that I play for a couple hours a day just to unwind. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also let me know if there's any specific topics in this game that you'd like me to cover or go over in more detail. So drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe for more No Man's Sky content. And I will see you all next time. Hello everyone, and welcome to the show where we go over some of the most interesting pieces of news in gaming. This week we take a look at the release of the Xbox One S console, details about the Nintendo NX launch lineup, Destiny 2, and Civilization 6. This is GameBite.